Hey guys, okay, so today we're going to be doing a basic deserty style terrain, if you will. We're going to be using sand. I've gone for a yellow sand, and to give you an idea of how this could look, so you've got two different applications I've done here. So this one I've done one layer, this one I've done two. So if you're planning on painting it or your board is already painted and you fancy doing a thinner layer, you can go this route, or you can go this route. So, without further ado, I hope you've got your Diet Coke. I've got mine. If you don't, now is your moment to go and get it. So, the main things that we're going to be using for today's tutorial, again, I've got my sand, I've got some aquid here, which is great stuff, and just for realisticness, I've also got some rocks. Now, I live in the Australian outback, Australia mate, so these come in my backyard, but if you can't find rocks, you can buy them, but I recommend just using the real thing because honestly it looks better. Right, so without further ado, the first thing we're going to do is just bomb some aquid here on. And as you can all see, I am going very precise with this, I want to make sure that it's completely perfect. Try and stifle your laughter there. All right. So I've got my brush, which is going to make any decent painter cry at the state of it. This is just my glue brush, and I'm just going to bomb it on. Now, because this is sand, there is a certain level of accuracy to some extent that you want to be doing here. So the first thing we're going to do is smear this all over, so it's roughly covered. Let's just cover it before we start buggering about with anything else. Okay, and then what we'll do, once we're done, we'll go over it and smooth it out. So right now we're just bombing it on. And of course, everyone who's seen me before do this kind of work knows that I am just so OCD. Not at all, I just go with it. So now what we're going to do is smooth out that glue. Because we're doing a sand, we don't want to have built up areas too much because it is going to be more obvious. If you're painting it, whatever. If you're not, this is going to be a problem, so you want to be aware of it. All right, so we're just going to smear this all over, get it nice and even, just keep it moving. Alrighty. So, there we have it. Right, so we've got our sand, and all we're going to do is put it on. I don't know if I should maybe do half thin, half not. We'll see how we go. All right, so as you can see, as always, in true that gamer and chick gamer and trainer style, I am being ever so careful and precise. Nope. So just bomb it on, pat it down as you go. That's going to help it sort of adhere. Chuck it on. And again, if you are one of those poor unfortunates who lives at home with mum and dad, don't do this inside, otherwise you most likely be grounded. Alright. And if you are over 30 and living with mum and dad, my deepest sympathies. Alright, so as predicted, I haven't got quite enough sand happening here, so I'm just going to put the excess back in, which I did just a fantastic job of that. But you can see that this is now starting to look like a proper deserty terrain. So again, we're just going to keep going, keep more stuff on, chuck it on. For those that are wondering what I'm actually using as my base, I honestly use pretty much anything that's going. I've been known before when I haven't had anything else to use old boxes, whatever's going really. But you can pretty much use whatever you want. I'm using today, it's like a foam covered in cardboard. Doesn't seem to be ridiculously porous or anything for those worried about the cardboard sagging. So we're just going to go over, fill in all the blank areas. All right, and just to keep those of you that are a little bit OCD happy, I'll touch in those areas So I can see you all sitting behind your computers going, oh God. All right. Fix it, lady, fix it. Alrighty, so there we go. Our little bald spots are all filled in. No hair loss worry there. Alright, so we've got here basically a really nice sandy looking terrain going on now. So again, with these sorts of things, when you're going to be doing this, it all comes down to how much floor space do you need. This for me is going to be a board piece. So I don't need a huge amount of floor space, but if I was going to be using this as a storage display for my army, it is just you're gonna have to keep everything to the sides and keep it all nice and even. All right, so rocks. For those of you wondering, how are these rocks gonna stay? Are they gonna be all right, etc., etc.? Yes. What I've actually done to prepare these, I've washed them. So all I've done is pop them in a container, put some dishwashing liquid in there and some hot water, swill it around a few times to get the excess shit off. And then I've put them in the oven on 130 degrees, and that's going to cook any bacteria or anything living on it, and that's going to stop your glue going moldy. So just starting off, literally chuck it on. Aquid here dries clear, in case you're wondering. And it takes 12 hours to reach maximum effect, but honestly, after 2 or 3, you're usually pretty good. So with the rocks, you can either do clusters and have several. The only thing I would suggest with that, if you're gonna go crazy with the rocks, use a wood base, because otherwise it's gonna be heavy. And I'm just gonna glue my rocks straight onto the base. Now, for those of you who have a little problem with where should I put it, I find I do not have a professional background in terraining, just in case anyone's wondering, but I am a graphic designer. So for me, I find with any project, it's about balance. If you're going to go very heavy on one side, either have nothing on the other side, and that's essentially where the army sits, or you want to have it relatively balanced. So what's balancing this side, you want to balance on this side, and that's going to give you a much more cohesive piece. So again, we're just literally sticking rocks on. There is no right or wrong way. And the best thing about this, because the rocks are heavier than the board, if you're not happy with your placement, you can tear it off and refit it. So I'm just going to do that. If you're going to go clusters, odd numbers tend to work better over even. So instead of going 2 rocks, go 3. Instead of going 4, go 5, that sort of thing. I like to balance out as well my big rocks with littler ones. So just chuck them in there. Again, for those of you that know me, there is no right or wrong way to do this. I like to squeeze a little bit of glue in the gaps there, just to help hold it all together that little bit better. Again, it dries clear. I'm planning later on dry brushing these rocks. They do hold paint well, in case you're wondering. If you've ever painted bricks, then I'm sure you know what you're in for. The other thing you could do, I'm not going to do it today because I've only got white gravel currently, but if I had a better suited gravel here, or I could be bothered painting it, I might consider, I'll do a little bit over here, you know, just chucking it a bit around. And I would use a spray glue for this part. Okay, so a spray glue is going to work a lot better. And then if you're worried about down the track, what if it moves? For those of you that have watched my channel before, the trick is maximum hold hairspray. Okay, so maximum hold hairspray all over the top. So if you don't know what hairspray is, go and raid your missus or mum or sister, or if you have absolutely no idea, just go to the local shops, Woolworths, whatever, get an assistant and just explain that your wife or whatever sent you for hairspray and you just need something that holds really well. Most hairsprays do have a number system on the side, so go for a number 5 and that's your maximum hold. So we've got our gravel down, so we're going to pretend that our gravel is that orangey colour as well and it's all blending lovely. So we're just going to carry on. And again, no wrong way. If you're worried that there is a wrong way, you are worrying too much. And I shall have to smack you. Alright. So I've just broken my own rule and put 4 there, but there you go. So this is essentially what you're going to work with as what I like to call your base terrain. So what we say by base terrain, this is the basic. So you've got a ground, got a couple of rocks, got a few things going on. What you can now do is start, if you want to, adding grasses, or you could add, I actually really need to go to the terrain shop again and buy some new grasses because I've got not the right colour. I've used all of my dead grass. So we're going to be using a greener grass today, unfortunately, even though I would prefer to use a dead one. And what I would do is just stuff it under the corners of the rocks, maybe a random tuft here, maybe a random tuft there. If you're fancying making plants, again, this is my little fake plant that I cut leaves off to make plants out of, and I've gotten quite a few out of this. So the best things that you can use are usually A, the cheapest, or B, the ugliest. So there you go. Right, so because this is Space Marines, I could easily look at doing things like, I've got some little fuel cans. You know, I haven't actually got my army handy, but this is also handy for if you have little pieces like this. So there's the dead grass I was talking about before. This needs re-gluing. But this is basically my little ooze chamber. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's actually dyed purple ooze. And the way I did that was just mix up a purple with food colouring, add it to my aquid here, and that is it. Because this is a purple and it's a dark colour, it's not going to show very well, but this works fantastically with ooze coloured greens and whatnot. So what you could even do is decorate the base of something like this. So this little kit, I believe this was like $10. It was not an expensive kit, and it is from the miniature scenery range. So this is the range that it's from. These are the building widgets that I like to use, but this is the range that it's from. You need to check these guys out. And also TT Combat. They are fantastic for little bits and pieces. So what you could even do is the same process we've used here. Use it on this base. Put your dead grass on, chuck it in the middle, and put some dead grass around to tie it together. So to get pieces like this to work with a terrain that is kind of opposite to this, again, it's about making it match. So it's same coloured grasses on the board and on the piece, same coloured ground on the piece, and that's going to help it disguise a little better. And if you do these pieces separately, what you can actually do is interchange them, and then that way you have the option of keeping it really simple or going over the top. So this is basically what we're left with. Again, this is all about what do you want to put on it. You can put trees on it, you can put cactus on it, you can put whatever. I do recommend, if you don't have the ability to make trees and grass and things from home, go to the local store, the hobby shop, and they will help you out. For those that have watched me before, they will know, for me, the grasses. So this is what we call static grass, and your static grass is going to end up like this. So, and then you've got what I call, so your hobby grass, and it comes in little tufts, it comes in a variety of colours, and it just glues on. This is a sticky base version, so I've not super glued this, which is why it's a bit loose, but they do stick. I do recommend using super glue though. But, so you can see here, this has taken easily under 10 minutes. If I wasn't talking about how I was doing it, I could do it a lot quicker. But so this has taken under 10 minutes, and you've got a really strong base for whatever army you fancy. And this works with a variety of different sands, it works with gravel, it works with anything. If you don't have access to gravel, you can go to your local fish shop and get some aquarium stones, but you need to get fresh water, not salt, or it will eat the paint. And again, I just hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I am new to tutorials, so if there is anything that you would like to see, anything you would like to know, any questions, you can either ask me here, you can get me on Instagram. My tag is that_chick_gamer_and terrainer. And you can ask me anything. I have Facebook. I have all of this sort of thing. So by all means, if you have any questions, you think I could be doing something different, I could do it better, please let me know. And in the meantime, hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Have a great day.